Well, beautiful. Very, very, very beautiful. And of course, we're excited about that. And that's from Mr. Che, wherever you are, good morning to you. You want to go stream some of those songs, making sure that the older songs live on by putting some touch, some Gen Z touch to it. I don't know, Jama touch to it. But of course, good work done. Of course, our guests are not nurses, and so definitely they are not on strike, and so they're in the studio. Reverend Xavier Demoji is a clinical engineer and who works with the Lekma Hospital, of course, also an assistant pastor with the Action Chapel International Tertiary. We're grateful. Thank you very much. Of course, the forensic scientist himself, who works with the Ghana Armed Forces, is Pastor Bernard Addy. He's also with us at the Action Chapel International, the next gen. And also does
somebody's father, you say is Gen Z.
No, I said putting the Gen Z touch to it. Of course, Bache is just like you. He's not married. He doesn't have a son.
Okay.
Right.
That's any small opportunity. Okay. Oh, today we are prepared for you. I wrote my speech before I came, so you...
It is a fact that both of you are not married.
We are not married. Yeah. So is my little nephew. He's also not married. He's 4 years. He's not married.
Who?
My nephew.
Oh yeah.
Yes, he's not married. So unmarried. So what does it mean?
The law states what you did. You are above 80. You are 80.
How do you know I'm above?
You are above 20.
How do you know?
You probably are getting close to your 40.
Yo.
So the Archbishop is watching.
I'll bring my documents.
Papa is watching you.
Good morning,
clearly.
Papa.
Absolutely.
Good morning.
Now you are saying good morning. Anyway, it's good to have both of you. Quite a number of things happening in Ghana, but most importantly, the nurses are still on strike. I'm sure we probably will touch on that. But let's get on to the very first story. That smacks of some good news, if you like, but the critics who don't, they will always want, and some of us will always want more. So we'll ask for more. At least we want unlimited data for free. But of course, government directs telcos to effect 10 to 15% data bundle increase from July 1st. The government has announced that mobile network operators MTN, Telecel, and AT will increase their data bundle offerings beginning Tuesday, July 1st, 2025. Speaking at a press conference yesterday, yesterday, June 10th, actually, the Minister of Communications and Digitalization, Sam George, explained that the adjustment aimed to enhance data accessibility for consumers across the country. This is what he said, and I quote, starting July 1st, ATTGO, Ghana will offer 10% increase in all data bundles currently offered by the network. Additionally, the 400 Ghana cedis bundle, which currently offers 195 gigabytes of data, will now offer 236 gigabytes of data. Ghana Telecommunications Company Limited, Telecel, also a 10% increase in all data bundles currently offered by the network. The 400 bundle, Ghana cedis bundle, which currently offers 90 gigabytes, will offer, they didn't add a open, but I would just add open 250 megabytes from July 1st. Scancom Ghana Limited, MTN, has a 15% increase in all data bundles currently offered by the network. I'm pleased to announce the restoration of the 399 Ghana cedis bundles, which have been changed to the 350 Ghana cedis bundle that offers 92.88 gigabytes, will be reinstated to 214 gigabytes or for 399 Ghana cedis, he said, unquote. So that's it. Two things. Okay, let me just pick your quick thoughts that we can quickly do those ones.
Well, basically, this is something that he has been saying since he came into power.
He even said before he came.
So it is good to know that at least what he said is not just a statement, but there is a good news behind it. So I think a lot of people are excited. Those who use data. I think there was an era that is a free night call. You see people staying overnight because of accessibility to data. But looking at the increment that have come, I think it's good news for everyone that uses data in their daily activities.
I see.
So we'll just wait for 1st of July
I see.
so that we can start buying our data to see the reflections. I think that is.
Are you able to relate to the free night calls back in the day?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Back in the day, right now,
No, there's no free night call. So
there's
that's
no
why I
free
said
night
back.
call. Back in the day, by the grace of God,
right.
I was able to 1 or 2 calls make.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
And then this one is very, very important for us because we are becoming an
As
increasingly
who?
as Ghanaian citizens.
Okay, cool.
Hey, Koku.
And I just wanted to be sure the context.
You know, we are becoming increasingly digitalized,
Okay.
and a lot of things depend on data these
Okay.
days. You know, you can't send messages, you can't call your loved ones abroad. I remember one time when I think it was WhatsApp shut down temporarily for, you know,
True.
yeah, I
Some
think,
days.
Yeah.
no?
yeah, about some hours.
Hours?
Yeah.
It was not days?
No, it was hours.
Hours,
Oh.
something.
You know, and some people's relationship were on the line.
Ouch.
Yes,
And that's not yours wasn't. That's not an excuse actually.
Well, you see,
No.
when we advise you to pick a woman in your vicinity, you say no. Catch an area girl, you say no. You want to date in Brussels. Now WhatsApp is down, you can't make calls.
You don't also have enough money to also do the regular call.
Regular call. WhatsApp all the way. So when WhatsApp, Charlie, this long distance relationship thing, we have to talk about it.
Of course, it has to be
Yeah,
some.
the lack will have to come in and answer because she's an expert.
Long distance.
Yes, international relationships. She has a degree in it. So when we hear of data things, they are saving lives, saving relationships, saving families. You know, there are people whose families are abroad legitimately for work purposes and stuff like that. But that being said, on a more serious note, after you've given us enough data to give us better quality of service.
Yeah, so I was going to that. There sits the issue of the consumer.
Exactly.
And of course the
I
quality
really don't
of
know
service.
why we are even entertaining 3G in this country at this point. Because the world has moved on to 5G. And we have some, you know, network issues here and there. Even coverage. It's still a conversation. There are certain places that don't have proper coverage. Even here in Accra. You know, in some areas in Ashonman, you know, some areas in Kwabenya, you struggle to get, you know, a good service. So if you give us 72,000 billion gig of data with poor connectivity, then that's not really a win.
Right.
So I really hope that we'll move on. This one is a very, very good thing. There's a guy called Tekinchi. He has been advocating this thing since God knows how long. You know, he's been on some judge's neck. Every day they are fighting on X. You know, I'm sure he'll be very excited right now. But I think the conversation should now shift to the quality. And we should make some attempts at least to not compel, but encourage these telcos to move to a faster broadband network or to improve. I think MTN wanted to do 5G and somehow it didn't work. I don't know how or why it didn't work, but they wanted to introduce 5G some time ago and it didn't really work. And I know there's some technicalities involved in, you know, making it possible in a country and so on. So we thank the Honorable Sam George. He delivered on his promise. He said he was going to do this. He's done it. We really actually hope for more increase in the data prices and then a decrease in the money that we used to purchase it. And also an upgrade in the quality of service. Because right now, we use internet for almost everything. Internet of Things is connecting our fridges to the internet.
True, yeah.
Our phones are connected. Very soon, our shoes will be
I tell you for a
connected
fact.
to the internet. No problem. Just they should just improve the quality of service.
Right. As of 2024, there's no show in Parliament with regards to the Consumer Protection Bill. Yes, it's been
no
there.
mention at all.
It's at some point I recalled that it was on the front burner. I don't know of the. I think the previous session before the one that just went off before we got a new one in Parliament. So it's been on the table for God knows how many years, and it's not been attended to. And so if it is possible, I think one of the conversations we need to do, we need to have the conversation around the Consumer Protection Bill and Act or the law. The point right now, finally, on this has to do with the politicization of these interventions. Indeed, I don't know if it was the beginning of his address or the presser, he intimated that it is a free market.
Exactly.
You are operating a free market.
Can't compel anybody.
So the question now comes, as much as you are asking the minister, or he himself promised that he was going to make sure that data will be reduced, is it creating the enabling environment 5 months down the line? How was he able? Of course, AT we know wholly owned by government. For Telecel,
it's also the West among them all.
For Telecel, we've got a bit of stakes in there. Yeah. But for Scancom MTN, it's privately owned.
Which is also the best.
Exactly. Well, we cannot. No, but you cannot. No. I need to issue the disclaimer that we've not seen the ranking as of now.
They have the largest market share.
Yeah,
they have the fastest internet speed. It's on record.
Well, but as I said, I'm issuing a disclaimer that it does not represent.
Oh no, it's not dominant in this position. It's my personal position.
Right.
I use Telecel, but I use MTN for data.
Right.
Because it just makes sense.
Okay.
Look at the prices card that they've released. You know that MTN had the biggest
15%. No.
Yeah, the 15% only applies to MTN.
Yes.
Because they have the largest market share.
Right.
And also they have the best internet quality.
Right.
Data there and one MTN.
Right.
You know, what do you call that thing? TurboNet.
Right. That again, people will say it differently. So let's leave it at that.
That MTN data, the quality, not the price.
Yeah, so let's leave it at that.
The price there, I mean, I think is the most highly priced. Okay. But the quality, in terms of quality, I use Telecel data.
Right.
I use MTN data.
Right.
MTN has better coverage in terms of data. It has better quality in terms of data.
As I said, let's move away from that so that we are not in trouble.
Trouble with who?
I mean, they'll come for us. You know, it's television, so they'll come for us. So let's erase that. I'm saying that the politicization, people have raised concerns about the issue of how did the minister go about? I know you are not experts. How the minister, is it by way of speaking to them, conscientizing with them, or let me start off with you, because I mean it's a big issue.
I think it's an issue of the proactiveness of the minister.
Okay.
You know, it's your ability to negotiate and to let your opinions matter. That is what we are seeing. Because I think before he even became minister, this has been something that he has been advocating for all these years. So he really knew about what was happening. So for him to be able to come out, so I think it's an attribute that I may say that it's as a result of his initiative and how proactive he is with the negotiation. Because if you want to really put politics in this, I don't think it's an issue of politics. If you look at someone like Sam George, he is somebody who is very proactive with whatever he does. So let's give him the kudos of what he has done. Not really an issue of politics, but for him, he just would love to do what must be done as his responsibility.
I think he said it, consensus, dialogue.
Okay.
You know, one of the things I've noticed in relationships is that relationships, I mean, cutting across all facets. If you know how to speak, if you are a master of communication, you'll do well. Because there are certain things that are so tricky, so slippery, so complex. There's no right way to approach it. But if you know how to communicate what you are saying, especially when multiple parties are involved, like you rightly said, well, the Consumer Protection Bill is meant to protect Ghanaians from inferior goods and services. But if there's going to be quality goods and services, you have to, like you rightly said, have the enabling environment.
That's right.
And so you cannot come and compel anyone to reduce prices when cost of production is still the same, and so on and so forth. So it's a two-edged sword. The government will have to reduce taxes, number one. There are a lot of companies that folded last year and within the space of the last few years because of high cost of production and high cost of operation. I think Jumia Foods folded, Glovo folded, a lot of companies, Nivea, they moved their production plants. And the painful thing is they moved their production plants to neighboring countries.
That's right.
Togo, Benin, Nigeria, you know. And the only reason they cited was that the taxes were way too high. So if you are taxing me so much and still expecting me to reduce consumer prices, it's not realistic. And so I don't know how Sam George pulled it off without necessarily introducing maybe some tax reform or giving them some tax breaks or cuts. I know that a company like MTN, again, is not advert. Let me give my own disclaimer.
So maybe you can just say some companies, some telcos.
I want to be specific.
No, otherwise we'll be in trouble.
Hey, some DNA, please.
We'll be in trouble.
So you see that thing that they do, is it Heroes of Change?
Right.
And then, okay, let me add Telesol's own. Telesol also does Healthline.
Right.
You know, stuff like that feed into
The
their
Ghana Music Awards.
Ghana Music Awards as well. But Ghana Music Awards, I think it's commercial, right?
Yeah, but they've sponsored. They've kept it going.
I'm talking about like social responsibility.
This part of, they could also say it's part of,
Really?
yes. It's to support the music
Telesol
industry.
Ghana Music.
Exactly. It's to support the music industry.
If then that even makes the case better because those things will give them certain tax exemptions because they are heavily involved in social intervention and so on. But I think the government should give them clear cut tax, I don't know, not exemptions per se, but statements that show that we are also committed to making them comfortable,
Right.
so that they can produce the standard or the quality of service that we require as Ghanaians. I mean, I've seen a lot of praise coming in from certain African citizens, Nigerians, Cameroonians. When they come to Ghana, they are so surprised at the quality of life, you know, the electricity is on, and we are like, huh? Look, we are complaining about these things every day. So while we are complaining, we should also be thankful. We should be grateful because our situation is much better than many other countries. Even in some European countries, our situation is better in some
Well, I
respects.
disagree. I mean, we don't compare mediocrity. I
What
would rather
mediocrity is-
want to compare with somebody who is progressing, not retrogressing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we are not that bad. We are not that bad.
As compared to who, again, that you compare to them. So that's where I do. I
You know, one of the campaigns that I really have to take on is this thing that seems to make Europe or the West the standard. For me, I think that we are making progress in our own vein and at our own pace. We have retrogressed a lot.
Could be
We have
better.
thought it could be much better.
Right.
Could be much better.
Right.
But all in all, I think that we are enjoying some good work, especially in this season and in this time with this particular government. Let's pray for them. Let's be grateful for what we have while we are fighting for what we want.
Right.
You know, that was my point. Let's be grateful for what we have
right.
now as we are still fighting for what we want so that we don't lose sight of the fact that we are blessed.
Right. The next story has to do with the strike. I don't want us to focus on what's happened in Parliament. It's been one too many. If we focus on Parliament, we get into the politics of it. So I want us to just go back and let's talk about the strike. We still can see that a lot of hospitals are still empty with the nurses. They have refused to return. A lot of the language being used. Yesterday, I was forced to post something on Facebook, especially when the minister was calling on the retirees to come help.
Parliament?
And to come help. Some of the nurses began to mock us and create things on social media about the AI, how the AI retiree nurses, they created it and mocking us. What I
Are you
did,
serious?
absolutely, what I did as a person was to restrain myself from not mocking them when they are struggling. One of the things I would have expected these nurses to do is to also restrain themselves. But I mean, they were mocking us, and it shifts the attention from your needs to you proving a point,
Right.
which sometimes can be said that you are being petty. The situation is bad. It's bad. It's bad.
Yeah. It's worse than what we think. I think yesterday I was listening to news on TV3, and a pregnant woman was shedding tears. You know, I think she was in pain, and she went to receive help. And when she went, they were referring her to OPD, and there was no attention given to her. Then finally, she was in pain, and she had to go to another hospital. And when I saw this lady shedding tears, heavily pregnant, I asked myself, this is just an eyes of the beat. That is what is happening. Because when you go round the health facilities, you can see evidently that a lot of people are in pain, a lot of people are struggling, and it's not a lot of people that have the basic finances to afford some of these private facilities to go to whatever they have to. Yesterday, I think I was in the theater, and one doctor was saying they have to postpone a surgery because there was no nurses around to assist with the surgery. This is the gravity of it. Just imagine you are due for surgery. The doctors and all people are ready to do the surgery, but the nurses that must assist are not there. Apart from their responsibilities, the vital role they play, looking at all that is happening, all the stakeholders involved are appealing to them to return to work so that whatever discussion they must go through so that their condition of services are mended. But I don't know why still they feel that it's the strike that is their driving force to push their demands. I think for me, I think I said that earlier on that is a bit insensitive because if people are willing, even the government came out yesterday appealing to retired nurses. I don't know how effective that can be because these are groups that are trying to push an agenda. And apart from they having a genuine cause that their needs that they have, their condition of services are not better, they need to be improved. We should also understand the fact that they are basic people that are going through pains. You have been called to that service of saving people. So if you allow people to just go through pain and die because you are trying to push
prove a point,
to me that one is wrong. So for now I don't see there is because yesterday after the press conference that the minister was appealing to them that they should come and the deputy finance minister talking about the 2 billion that need to be put into the budget for their demands. You can see evidently that if they push and such demands are agreed on, it's not going they are going to benefit, but the country is going to suffer.
Right.
So you cannot just decide that, no, I want to be well, I wanted to be treated well at the expense of others. I think the government has cleared out that whatever demand they have, it will be pushed into the budget, but they should just come and let's sit down. Which of the needs that can be met now so that they agree on, and they are still just trying not to agree. So it's an unfortunate that is happening. I think we are just appealing to them because when you go to the hospital, some of the nurses voluntarily are working.
Yeah.
But majority of them are listening to the instruction that are given because they think that must be an agenda. But the fact that people are making mockery out of it, trying to make it look as if, okay, this is how we can prove how important we are, how vital we are. I think that is wrong. If you play your role effectively, people will appreciate you, love what you are doing, and will respect you for what you are doing. Because if, for instance, you are demanding something and you are still working, I think that can also be a motivating factor. But the fact that a lot of people are struggling in Ghana, not across the whole regions of Ghana, that is where I think very, very unfortunate.
I saw something on, I think 3 News posted this, one of our sister stations, why the GRNMA is striking, some of the demands.
Yeah.
Book and research allowance.
If you read that thing, I think that maybe I might.
No. You were begging.
Book and research allowance.
We are begging.
For what research?
Uniform allowance, fuel allowance, 13th month allowance, night out of station
the one that
allowance.
pisses me is the funeral grant.
Vehicle maintenance allowance.
Yala grant. You want Yala grant?
Kilometric allowance. I think I need to. Do you know about the kilometric? All right, sure. That's why I don't know whether this is true or not. Funeral grant, annual professional license renewal fees. Their position.
Wait, annual license professional, like that. What the government should pay for them or what?
No. They are asking for a reduction in the amounts they pay for the renewal.
Right. Their position is that their colleagues in these institutions that they also work are not only entitled to this. They are enjoying this, and so they don't see anything special about, more special about these.
Have you heard of medical school training allowance before? Have you heard some before? In Ghana here? No, I'm asking you a direct question.
No.
Have you heard of medical school training allowance?
No.
Have you heard of nursing training allowance before?
Yes.
Hey, see, there are things that the nurses are enjoying that other people are also not enjoying, even at their training levels. This nursing training allowance, it became a campaign issue.
It will always be. It's become a tool.
Someone took it off, someone brought it back, because, and it was like a ransom tool.
Yes.
Oku, remember during the COVID, we were all asked to stay home during the lockdown, with the exception of essential workers. That's when I realized I wasn't essential.
Okay.
That was my introduction of mine. Because I was in UCC back then, teachers are not essential.
Okay.
Stay at home, and then you pray to God. The people that were essential, policemen, security agencies, doctors, nurses, of course, Kokulumo. You can't ask Kokulumo to stay at home.
Yeah.
Kokulumo is a very essential Kokulumo.
To an extent, I was essential because I was on air and I needed to report on these
No,
things.
you in particular, Nankasa, we are very essential brother.
He's missed.
Oh, Nankasa, no, we are big man. We are charming. Nobody can ask you to stay home. You are asking Kokulumo to stay home. Born dog. When they asked us to stay home,
Right.
that was when we saw that, hey, some professions are more essential than others. And the nurses were part of the essential workers. It tells you that even though everybody, commerce, marketplaces, pubs, all of these things that we considered important, even church was shut down. They said, no, nurses must go to work because if you are not there, something is very wrong. Even when nobody was allowed to make money, nurses were allowed to go to work. Doesn't it drive home any point that you guys are so... It's getting annoying now because they are taking advantage of the fact that they are so essential to our economy to wreak havoc, as it were. Yesterday, a pregnant woman died because there were no midwives to attend to her at one of the big hospitals. And I'm wondering how the husband will be feeling. My wife is in labor. Nobody there to attend. She loses her life. And I also lose the baby.
Right.
And it's because, look, yesterday I saw something interesting. It may sound a little politically biased, but I'll have to say it anyway because that's what we are discussing. The president of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives last year was going from statement to state, explaining why the nurses must be patient and that they are negotiating and that, they should be patient. It's almost at the tail end and she mentioned some things, at the pump, the fuel is whatever. At the time she was talking, that she was saying that the fuel allowance is too small, that they need an increase in the fuel was 17 cedis. Today, as we speak, it's 12. Now that fuel is down, inflation is down, the city is stabilized, food prices and everything is coming down. It's now rather that you want to be impatient, especially with a government that you did not negotiate with. This government is just 5 months old.
This governance is continuing.
Government, we get it. But you have refused to go to the negotiation table. You have refused to listen to any pleas. We are begging, you say no. We are pleading, you say, what do you want us to do? Madam Perpetual, and you see, there's now some things that are coming out, and her husband is a MPP constituency chairman at English Amanfro, and this now people are turning the thing into politics, because you've given occasion for people to do that kind of thing. Last year, her tone was very different. She was the one pleading with nurses not to go on strike. Now she's the instigator, saying they should go, they should stay at home, they shouldn't come. Now you are talking about
that's not the true reflection. She says that the impatience of the members. So it's more like a consensus.
What then is the excellence of a leadership? You were able to hold them off last year with reasons that were right now, even with benefit of hindsight, was not all that reasonable. The budget has been passed, we've told you. We can do something about it during the mid-year budget review. We can do something about it, but it may not be to your satisfaction. So wait, when we do the new budget, we'll do everything that you are saying. How is this difficult? Do you know the number of other government agencies and institutions that have also vital roles, who are also essential workers with very poor remuneration? I sat here and talked about the immigration service, remember? Do you know how much they take? Some of the officers, do you know how much they take? It's far less than what nurses take. But have you heard? And they confront armed insurgents at our borders. That's their daily routine. They are trained to confront people with guns. Have you seen them going on strike? Have you seen police people going on strike because the conditions of service are so bad? Why wouldn't you just understand that your job is way too important for you to play these games? It's games they are playing, and it's not good. It's not fair. Madam Perpetua and the team should sit up, because what they are doing is going to cause the country, if their family member or their loved one is on a sick bed, would they do what they are doing? Or is it because we do
special arrangements?
Special arrangement of what? So we are chickens. It's your uncle, it's your dream, yes, sir. If it is inside your brother's destiny, then it is inside the stick.
I've followed one of the proponents of this strike and the call them conspirators, for want of a better expression. He says all the things I have read.
What's his portfolio?
He's the Volta Regional PRO.
Okay.
Specifically Israel Moayivo, of course, like I mentioned his name. He says all the things I've read, some of them were, approved 2020. So this is what he said, I'm quoting. When someone asked whether or not the demands on the flyer was true or not, he says, some of the things on the flyer are demands already approved in 2020.
But there's an injunction, or it's not away.
Which we don't even get. The new things we are demanding are just 4 in number. They have, so he goes on to say...
Sir, are you not aware that there was an injunction on this thing? There was an injunction on the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. There was an injunction on the government. There was an injunction on the registered nurses. The thing just got lifted. That's why it wasn't captured in the budget.
Yeah.
There was an injunction. So you see, this is the duty of the president, Madam Perpetua, to tell them that, look, we were in court. The thing just came out. That's why it's not in the budget. So you guys should be patient. But she won't say it.
So,
and now they're saying the 2 billion that the deputy finance minister is saying is overblown, it's too much, it's not the real figure. You are now telling the finance minister the amount that it will take to service you. You now know better than the finance minister.
Of course, if they can calculate it, if they know what exactly it
you
is.
Can't. How you may be asking for 50 cedis, we intend on giving you 200. Maybe you say you want their clothing allowance, for instance, is 400 cedis per year. Maybe you want to increase it to 1,006, which is times 4, right? How will you know? How are you now arguing with... You understand what I'm saying?
Okay, I get
Maybe
it. So
their demands are just minimal.
So
increases.
she says it's too much and does not reflect
exactly.
But
maybe,
you say
maybe
the government
is trying to exceed expectations to a point where you will not even have a mouth to demonstrate again.
Right.
So it doesn't make sense, Koku. Somebody is instigating this thing. That person must be fished out. We'll pray against you. You wait. We'll start praying just now.
I can understand and feel your pain. Clearly, people are struggling. If you are in a very healthy condition this morning, and they should thank the Lord. Otherwise, if anything happens to you right now, you have to resort to going to the private hospitals, who probably they also... But I'm just thinking right now that, and this is just by the way, I don't want to see any nurse, I don't want to go to any hospital and see nurses also saying they are doing locum at the private...
It's good news for the private sector.
Yeah.
So these people will now go and be working
for
the
same people doing the same people. You see the hypocrisy?
They do
see the hypocrisy? Oh, yes.
People there.
All the cases...
Even the nurses?
Yes.
Nurses do locum?
Yes.
So locum is, if you like...
it's a medical thing. The lab technicians, all of them do. Look, if you work in a hospital...
But you might get tired if you are running...
That is not a problem for them. Getting tired is not the issue. But you see what I'm talking about? It's not really about, we want improvement in... It's not that. It's not that.
I see.
You are just trying to show us that you have power. And what you are doing, you are hurting somebody who cannot afford a private hospital.
Yeah.
You are hurting somebody whose only option is the Ghana Health Insurance, National Health Insurance card. That can only afford the public thing. And the insensitivity of it, Koku, we are not saying that you are wrong, totally wrong. You deserve what you are asking for. But it is better for you to exercise patience.
Right.
It's better for you to be reasonable about what you are asking. We will pay you. We will give you. It's not just a matter. Koku, it's like you've gone to ask your father. It's like your son coming to ask you for, let's say, a bicycle, right? And it's not that he doesn't need a bicycle, you don't want to give him a bicycle. But currently, finances
can afford.
It's tight. There are other important things you need to settle in a house. And you sit in there and say, you discuss with him and say, I'll get you the bicycle. But next time. Or maybe you put in a little, thing and say, just do well in your exams. And then when you do well, I'll get you the bicycle.
Then your son, we'll take a quick break at this point though. Then your son sees you buying chichinga. Chichinga is kebab.
Chichinga can't buy bicycle, massa. Chichinga money cannot buy bicycle. And buy chichinga 10 cedis. Bicycle is more than 500 cedis.
GB Fezi says, I'll follow you. Rejoice Ahiadome says, nice shirt there, ma'am. I think referring to Biadela. I think that is very crucial. The electric wires have been faulty in our area as well. Chado. Good morning, Wake Up Africa. That's Debja Bags. Okay, all right. So Biadela comes to take her fans. Take the fans. Right. And also Reverend Xavier Early Demoji. The Debja Bags, the ongoing nurses strike is resulting in loss of lives. I strongly condemn this industrial action. She comes back and said, love this convo. It's so great.
You can read the comments. Last week, do you know how many comments I posted you didn't read?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
One day also, I posted comments you didn't read.
Forgive me. Anyway, stay hydrated, stay satisfied. Trying to introduce to you Aqua Clear mineral water, and of course, it's your partner in purity, sourced from pristine locations and treated to perfection. Aqua Clear water undergoes rigorous filtration, purification, and mineralization to ensure crystal clear and healthy hydration for your home, office, or event. Get your 20-liter bottle of dispenser today. You can contact them on 024 1732880 or 055-948-8707. Or you can visit them at Action Chapel International, Spaintex, Aqua Mineral Water, drink purity. Feel satisfied. We're also thankful to the Bank Hospital because they're proudly associated with us here on the Wake Up Africa morning show. For all your medical needs, you can visit the Bank Hospital where care meets excellence. You can find them at Cantonment near Nafti in Accra, the Bank Hospital. Your trusted partner. You can call them also 0302 739 373. Make sure you do exactly that. Of course, also, for those of you who love to cook, just as my two gentlemen would love to do all the time, the two men of God would love to do all the time. I don't know of Reverend Xavier, though. Now that you are married, you do rice.
I love cooking.
Oh, you still love cooking?
I love cooking.
Right. Now that you're even married. Right, that's fair.
No, Koku, say what you want to say. I don't know why. Say what you want to say. You are doing Gino adverts. You are throwing shots at the same time. Which one should we catch? Should we catch the advert or should we catch the bullet? No problem. You tell the Gino people what they have done for Ghanaians. We hear from my native doctors.
Anyway, so, I mean, the best you want to go for is thick, it's red, it's rich. Gino tomato mix, just the way you like it. Of course, it has vitamin A, D3, fiber, and zinc, treating your family to tasty and delicious meals with Gino tomato mix. You can never go wrong. And so go on and make your next meal unforgettable with a thick, red, rich Gino tomato mix, because Gino truly cares. Remember, this advert is vetted and approved by the FDA. Well, let's now go to the next stories. Mr. Ken Oforiatta will return after June 13th surgery to face the Office of the Special Prosecutor. It's clear. After writing to the OSP, after writing to the Interpol yesterday, the letter that surfaced They have now clearly stated when it is going to return. But on the back of that, 3 SML directors picked up in corruption probe. There's a panic and confusion at the Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited offices as security operatives from the Office of the Special Prosecutor pick up 3 directors following a targeted raid. The search was carried out under court orders, was supported by personnel from the National Security Secretariat. Sources indicate that OSB is in the advanced stages of its investigation into the controversial SML contract and is interested in electronic information from the company's servers. And so the search has been carried out simultaneously at the Osu and Tema offices of the SML in Accra. So this comes at a time when the OSU pursued for the former Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, to answer questions on some transactions, including SML deal, has reached a difficult point, forcing the special prosecutor, to declare him a fugitive from justice. So it's clear that SML is also part of some of these things that he is said to have done, soul sourcing and all that. Your thoughts?
Well, I think the stand on the family is what keep me wondering, because, in fact, we are Ghanaians and we have certain traditions and customs of doing things. And I don't know why the family was silenced all this while until the red flag notice was given on Interpol.
Oh, they were speaking to through their his lawyers, I think.
Now they don't speak to their lawyers again. What's changed?
Oh, I mean, they have the right to.
Talk.
So it is because this is not just about Ken Ofori-Atta, because it's a legacy derail, because if this issue is on the international phase, and to have your name come
in your picture,
it's not just about him, but anyone with that name. I was watching an issue with, is it Nyantechi, when one of the daughters was graduating, and they mentioned her name because of that issue. Even though I think she excelled, but there was no applause. The people were just looking at. So it tells you what the effect of names. So this thing, for instance, is going to create a lot of image around them, even though they have not been proven guilty yet. But it creates a certain form of image that, okay, Ken has done this. So I think this thing should have been handled in a more better way than where we have got into. So the approach, I don't know what significant gain it may play, but it's a way of giving solidarity to their uncle, their cousin, or whatever is behind it. But I don't think that is really going to give any significant change with the case that is the special prosecutor is handling. Because irrespective of whatever you say, you are just appealing to the conscience of people to be tolerant with whatever it is. If you know that the surgery is on the 13th, they should have communicated all this while. So you don't wait till 4 days.
The 13th is Friday.
Friday. So this Friday, I don't know what will happen. I was asking if Interpol pick him up before the surgery, because you are wanted. So whether you are going for surgery or not, you are wanted. So I don't know whether they can say because of your health, go to the surgery, because we've been given information that it's bioclinic. So if special securities are deployed to the
They'll
clinic,
just wait for you outside
to pick you, I don't know what will really happen. So let's see. But it's really sad how things have gone so far. But I think the Office of the Special Prosecutor is advancing in its investigation. So let's see. I think yesterday what they did was, I was expecting it long ago, not now. Because if there is any information you think you can derive all this while, since this case came up from January, well, I doubt they may have something. But if that is what they have done, let's see the outcome of it.
I see. It tells you that, and I love what Reverend Xavier talks about. So whatever it is that I'm going to be involved in from now onwards, or whatever it is that I did, whether it's good or bad, my children and children's children will suffer the collateral damage or
Good or
enjoy the other, if it is good as
Your
well.
name has been etched into history.
Yes, exactly. Even though some people say we are people who forget easily, and anybody who surfaces with some form of affluence, we are swayed, we easily forget and follow them. The reason why even nowadays, and I need to state this, is that there are people who give chairs, stand up for people who are engaged in these internet fraud these days because of the cars they pull, because they're able to sort people out in the community. They are made chairmen and chairwomen.
I think it was Reverend Sam Adeyemi. He was speaking recently at a conference that was held at the ICGC Crescent Police, and he was talking about the fact
came to Ghana?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or I've gotten a name wrong.
So maybe. I don't know. I've not heard of Pastor Sam Adeyemi coming though.
I'll have to cross it. That's one of those top Nigerian pastors, and he said in his estate he would pass all the time, and the security men would salute him.
Okay.
And he felt really good. You know, it wasn't warranted. He never asked them to do it, but one day he decided to take the small car, which he uses for errands. He got there and there was no salute. He was coming back and he slowed it down intentionally. Like, guys, it's me. There was no salute.
Yeah.
And he realized, it's not me, it's the car.
It's the car, man.
So when you're exactly, we respect certain material stuff down here far more than what really matters, which is your name.
That's right.
The Kufuor name is, it's a really good name to have in Ghana, especially if it is Ajekum Kufuor. Because of President Kufuor's legacy and so on. There are certain people whose names are like in Chroma. Really good names like Lumo. Lumo. It's crazy. So, Ogu, you don't want to acknowledge the greatness of your name. And if we keep up this thing of just carelessly acting, Deuteronomy 30 verse 19, God said, I present to you this day two choices, death and life. And he goes ahead to say, choose life. So that you and your descendants will have life or will prosper. Meaning, whatever it is that we are encountering or experiencing now, our ancestors are held responsible.
That's right.
Because they chose our current state. And we are also choosing the stance of the next generation, which is a constant emphasis for me. We can build a better world by behaving better. But speaking more on the SNL people, the SNL, for those who don't know who they are, a company that was contracted by the GRA to look at some petroleum issues that we have, some gauge issues that we have. But Manasseh Azuri and the Fourth Estate conducting an investigation that proved that what they said they did was not what they didn't do any of it. So, for instance, they were asked if they checked anything with regards to dilution. They said no. Diversion. They said no. Income. They said no. Pump or gauge system. They said no. So, what exactly do you do? And after that inquiry, they deleted all those things that they had put in their bio off. So then it was like, what do these people actually do? Because the amount of money that they are given is a whole lot. Over the period, I think they've been given somewhere close to $500 million. That's a lot of money. And we are here, we don't even have money to pay our nurses, you see. So then it became an issue. What do they do? We don't have a problem with them being paid for a service, but what service is it? And we've not been able to get answers. And this one opened a whole lot of cans, which helped us to see that there were certain contractors that were paid or that were being paid for very questionable service or unknown services. There's this Indian contractor, I don't know if you heard about it, the road contractor, who had done 1% of the job and had taken $30 million and had gone away because of some very funny clause in a contract that said that, he could revoke or... it's a very funny thing. A lot of the contracts that were given out under the previous administration, according to some investigations that have come out, were very shady. But this SNL group especially is very important because our petroleum industry is a very critical industry fuel prices affect every other thing. So that's why the offices were raided. The OSP believes that there are some digital information that they are hiding on their service, or there's some digital information that they need to get from their service. So they went and they conducted the raid, and they picked up 3 directors to come and answer questions. So we are waiting to see what comes out of it. Like Reverend Xavier said, this is something that should have happened a long time ago.
Well, as they said, the investigations are at advanced stages now.
Right.
So if it is a concealing of info, yeah, of course. But I'm sure as and when they need it, they'll go for them. This particular one, I want us to talk about the issue of waste separation. So AMA rolls out waste sorting initiative to combat poor waste disposal. So the new waste sorting system implemented by AMA to address poor waste disposal. Residents are encouraged to separate waste into wet and dry categories. Efforts aimed at preventing clogged drains and reducing flooding risks. Youth engaged in cleanup exercises across the metropolis. AMA reviewing bylaws for effective enforcement of the initiative. And so that is that. So it's time. This is what you have to say, Mr. Afful. Mr. Ben Afful is Ben Smith Afful is a project lead for the Youth Climate Action Campaign of the AMA. I only hope that you do your job. You do it right, right? Says it's time for every resident to take responsibility for their waste. So the waste sorting system is not something new to the world. Others do it in other places. I mean, you are the science students. People don't know that. Or you're a science student, right?
Yes.
Of course, and that's why.
The special grace of God.
Yeah, absolutely. That when you expose leftover food, it's even more dangerous because I think it gives off methane. Yeah. Methane is one of the, and people don't know. And so, I just threw away banku and stew. And I mean, that's it. So
for me, I think this is something that should have taken place
a long time ago.
Because of the issue of the flooding and other things, we realize that there is not much knowledge about separation of waste products. So what they are saying, fine, it's a good one that can come, but the question is, there must be much education on it. Because if you are providing dustbins for waste separation, if you are saying dry and wet, if you ask somebody what is wet waste, he will ask you, what are you talking about? Are you talking of water? Are you talking of fluid? If you are talking of dry waste, they are infectious waste also.
Yeah.
So I think there should be much education on whatever they want to initiate. It's not just a matter of saying it, but we want to see the implementation across world. Because if you are talking of waste, it's one of the major problems that is causing the flooding all over. So I think much education will help, and the logistic that are required for this should be at everywhere. Because if you go to other countries, these things are just anywhere.
They are stealing them.
Yeah.
They steal them.
That is human nature. That is
it cannot be.
That is the indiscipline we are talking about. You see, there was a time that Zoom Lion was distributing beans around, and later people were commercializing it. So these are issues that come across. So if it is really free, it should be free to everyone to have it at anywhere that you can easily just dispose of rubbish. But the issue of them just coming out with the issue that, we are separating waste and that ends it. This should be on TV. This should be on radio. We should have cars going around, educating the public. They should have some people even going around the schools, some churches, to give much education so that we don't have some of these things all around. Because sometimes you enter the vehicle, for instance, it's difficult even to drop your sachet water, because the driver will caution you. But
why caution?
No, because after each trip,
the baller that will be left.
Yeah, but that's their job. It's to sweep and
so that is the issue. That if there is much education, he knows that is his responsibility. That after each trip, he must clean.
Yeah, it's clean.
Then it is fine. But if you don't really educate people about what they must do, and you just put it in the public domain as a way of helping waste disposal, it becomes an issue.
I see.
Yeah.
See.
I want to talk about this thing on 2 fronts.
Yeah.
First one is that, this is exactly why the president and the finance minister said they were issuing 25 million Ghana cedis minimum to all districts, to MCs, DCs, and so on, to develop their districts. And the key issue at the fore was sanitation. And so all districts should make sure that there are bins at vantage points so that markets, especially at markets and bus stations, transport yards, and so on, so that when people consume, they are able to dispose of. But not just that, but that these bins should be demarcated clearly. In Germany, for instance, there are color codes for the bins.
Okay.
Such that if you see a green bin, you know exactly what to put in. If you see a black bin, you know exactly what to put in. If you see a blue bin, you know exactly what to put in. And so, well, we are looking at the sanitation issue, and we should be very serious with it. One of the downsides, when you travel out of the country and you come back, one of the things that you are so frustrated about when you come back to the country is the sanitation. The scent is different, you know. And so we must really work at making sure that, and it's all about waste disposal. The second aspect of it is this, that there's no human settlements that you will not find waste. Waste is a part of human settlement. One of the things that is even a requirement when you're trying to build and rent out in Accra here is that you should have a washroom, a proper washroom, and proper waste disposal, or like a refuse bin, you know. This is something that is it has a potential for market or industry, you know. I think that if we're able to empower private individuals to get into the waste industry, it will help. Because it is something that will never go out of fashion. There are certain jobs that will never run out, never go out of fashion, like real estate, medicine, food. They'll always be with us because they are basic needs of human existence. And waste is one of them. I think that if we are able to commercialize this industry and make it such that things like recycling plants, you know, landfill operators, incinerators, stuff like that are normalized and commercialized, creating a healthy competition. Because right now, the big ones are just maybe Zoom Lion, Asadu, Royal Asadu. These are the only two I know. Zoom Lion has now expanded to another African country. I think it is Tanzania or one of these other countries.
Nigeria, Tanzania, quite a number of them.
Exactly. So they are not just focused here.
Yeah, and also there have been calls for them to leave the scene and allow decentralization, where what you have said, where you allow the assemblies to go into these things by raising local enterprises that are into waste management.
Exactly.
So that you can localize these.
There's a lot of profits to be made from waste.
Right.
There is nothing God made that doesn't have a use, including what we call waste.
Right.
You know, there's biogas that we can generate from, you know, biological waste. There is all kinds of things that you can get from waste. I'm not about to go into all of it on TV because some of it are money-making ventures that me myself You know, so if we are able to look at this issue properly, we would have created a very good sort of IGF industry that will help the districts to be able to, you know, take care of their own needs. If we are old enough or mature enough to handle some of these responsibilities, then we'll be edging towards a more civilized society, you know, because in a society that doesn't, what makes a slum is because there's no order. Houses are built anyhow, waste is thrown anywhere. You know, that's what makes a slum a slum. That's what makes a rural community a rural community. What makes a metropolis is order. There are vantage points. There's a rubbish bin here. There's beauty. There's a lawn, you see, and there are demarcations. So you don't ask me not to drop rubbish anywhere, but there are also no bins. You don't ask me not to cross the road anywhere, but also there are no food bridges. So it has to go hand in hand. Once we are able to think about this in a way that allows the citizens to be civilized, in that we invest in some of these things and industrialize them as we go, I think it will be better.
Well, that's it. One of the things I just want to say is that I've heard, just like we have seen in other parts of the country, where they are trying to decongest the areas, people shouting, "We voted for you, and now you are sacking us," and all of that. It's happening. It also happened in the Volta region, the market, very, very crowded place, and all of that. And clearly, it's happened. I want you people to understand one thing, and the policymakers especially, that if you don't situate a lot of these ideas and these initiatives in mindset change, where monies are allocated for mindset change, communication of these ideas, and you go spend it, that is the budget you feel that is it's non-essential. So you go and spend that and go and implement the initiative. Without the mindset change, we are always going to come back here. People need to change their mindset, and that is where we need to go. At this point, where we voted for you, are asking us to leave the pavement. You want to sleep on the pavement? Clearly not. Clearly not. We need to decongest our cities. So big thanks to our guest, Reverend Xavier Demoji, is a clinical engineer with the Lekma Hospital, of course, an assistant pastor with Action Chapel International as well, of course, the forensic scientist himself, and Pastor Bernard Adi. A lot of things were coming to my mind. A big thanks to both of you for coming as always. Still to come is Tech and Trends, and of course the financial evangelist will also join us later on. We'll also be talking about you being the salt of the earth, Christians in public service, and how they can navigate the challenges they face, and of course they can serve as the salt of the earth in these places. You want to stay with us? Right back.